Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to our video for today. So let's talk about Alphabet, Google, a $1.73 trillion company trading at $136.71, has a forward PE of 22.3 times right now. Now remember, late 2022, beginning of 2023, all the headlines were doomsday scenarios for this company. Advertising market was coming down, Microsoft coming in with a new Bing, there was ChatGPT, etc., etc. There was some good criticism, let's call it, about, well, Google not being as fast with releasing their own AI product, their own AI features, and fine, there was some valid criticism there. Of course, there was also the $100 billion mistake, they call it. Actually, I call it as well, but I call this the opportunity of a lifetime. That's when they presented basically Bart. There were some mistakes being made there and the stock crashed, resulting in a loss of $100 billion in market cap. Since then, the stock has done quite well. Now on the screen, you can see something you've seen in yesterday's video about Apple. And here you can actually see a good investment thesis for Google for the future. Now, as you can see, in 2019, they started to repurchase their shares more and more, but it is only until more recently where they are spending more and more money in buying back more shares because, well, the stock crashed. They can still generate billions and billions in free cash flow. You can then also see the results here, organic growth, but also growth thanks to share buybacks. We've talked about the magic behind share buybacks a couple of times on this channel. If you know what I'm talking about, the picture will be on the screen right now. And still, you can see the EPS estimates for the 5-year growth rate in the next 12 months sits at 17.29%. Again, forward PE here, 22.3 times. It's cheaper than Apple and expected to grow faster as well. Buying back more shares. I mean, there's more momentum right now with Alphabet. We're going to talk later on about the Google Cloud aspect, the advertising market bouncing back, all of that later on in this video. But first, let's start with the negative side of things. And that's, of course, the Justice Department case against Google. So I'll go over the main points here. So first up, Google has used its monopoly power to block meaningful competition in the search market by putting a stranglehold on major distribution points for more than a decade. So even though DuckDuckGo provides something extremely valuable that people want and Google won't provide, real privacy, Google makes it unduly difficult to use DuckDuckGo by default. So first of all, let me say this. How many people here actually use DuckDuckGo? Second of all, how many people actually care about real privacy? Because if people really cared about real privacy, they would not spend the majority of their days on social media apps such as Instagram and especially TikTok. Moving on to the next point, a government lawyer said Google became a monopoly by at least 2010 and today controls over 89% of the online search market. The company pays billions for defaults because they are uniquely powerful. We've talked about that in the past. They are paying billions to Apple and Samsung to be the default browser on those devices. Which is also why I started to say that the rise in popularity of Pixel phones will be extremely positive for Google in the long run. Now they also say here the Justice Department and 52 Attorney Generals from states and US territories allege that Google illegally maintained its monopoly by paying billions to technology competitors, smartphone manufacturers, and wireless providers such as Verizon in return for being set as the pre-selected option or default on mobile phones and web browsers. So these will be the two sides. The plaintiff, the Departments of Justice, will argue that Google did not cement its monopoly through innovations, but rather via exclusive contracts and deals that made it the default search engine on phones and internet browser. The defendant, Google, their lawyers, will say that, well, the deals with Apple, Samsung, Firefox, and Verizon are not exclusive and haven't prevented people from searching out other search engines. They'll also argue that its product provides a better experience while zooming in on specific definitions and taking a broader outlook on web traffic. And I have to agree here. Just because they are paying billions to those companies, to those smartphone makers, does not mean that you do not have the option to use something else. I think the majority of iPhone users are still using Safari. If you're using Safari, please let me know down in the comments below. On Windows, for example, you can very easily use Bing, Chrome, Firefox, whatever. Nobody is preventing you to install another browser. So the claims here are not really that correct. And it goes back to the same point that we've talked about previously. They're going after big tech companies with bad cases. If they really wanted to go after big tech such as Google, such as Apple, they should have gone after them with regards to the App Store. Now, Google play a bit less than Apple because Apple really doesn't let you sideload anything on their phones. But that case could be much better than this one, which in my opinion, they'll 100% lose. Of course, do share your opinion down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, I would really appreciate that. We're on our way to reach 30,000 subscribers. Let's try and reach that by the end of the month. So thank you very much for all the support. And if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Now moving on to something very interesting with regards to the advertising market. This is from Ihart on X. I highly suggest you go follow him there. He posts great content. So he talks here a bit about Meta, about Apple, Snapchat, and Google. Now in this case, with regards to Google, it's Performance Max. So Performance Max for Google and Meta Advantage Plus is doing wonders. The big benefit is for SME advertisers as they become much more effective. Also, Performance Max utilized the Google Ad Network very well and gives great result. The expert says that they're currently getting even higher return on investment than on search. Now, with regards to Meta, advertisers that are using Meta click-to-messenger ads are currently seeing the best return on investment of anything they are doing in digital advertising. Now, I'm not going to read through all of this, but you can pause the screen and read it yourself. But this is already a great indication that new solutions in the advertising space are working pretty well after, of course, the big hit that most companies got because of the so-called privacy changes by Apple and, of course, the downturn in the advertising market. And, of course, this will be seen in future quarters for Alphabet. We already see some improvements in the last quarter. Operating income, operating margin are higher year over year, net income as well. And so if we scroll down, we can see that things are improving across the board. YouTube ads, Google advertising, especially Google Cloud. This has grown 28% year over year. And yes, this was the second consecutive quarter where finally this segment is becoming more and more profitable. And so I think we're getting to a point where Google will have lots of tailwinds, whether it's Google Cloud growing and becoming more and more profitable, whether it's their AI products releasing, Google Lens, Bard, you name it, the advertising market getting back to, let's say, a more normalized environment. I think the stock will definitely see higher highs in the coming quarters. One last thing here, beginning of October, there will be the new Pixel 8 that will come out. I believe this phone will again be one of the best phones of the year, just like the Pixel 7. And so the rise of the Pixel phone will just continue. Its popularity has been growing year over year. And since Google controls the whole ecosystem, a bit like Apple controls the iOS experience, I think we're going to see Pixel phones become extremely popular across the board. So that will be it for this video. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.